is no longer really an opportunity or choice, it's an imperative. To telling the story, how do we make sure that we're taking full advantage of any and all assets that are on the grid and at customer premises.
We interrupt this podcast to give you a sneak peek of our new dedicated podcast room. My name is Sandy Coughlin, and this is enx ei360 CEO David Swank. Hi, David.
Hello, Sandy. What a great room.
Absolutely. Our team worked hard to make this happen, and it is almost ready, but I couldn't wait any longer to show it off.
Whoa. Hey there, Data Node. Are you dancing?
Ha ha ha. Yes, he is dancing. David, this month we are discussing the powerful tool that data has become, and we welcome this little dancing data node to help us share the message. We will start with a quick video on that, but I also had a chance to talk with enx ei360 Director of Business Development, Jamie Tate, on the subject. It was a great conversation.
That sounds great, Sandy. I can't wait to see.
Enjoy.
And those who were seen dancing were thought to be crazy by those who could not hear the music. Does your data dance? A graph data structure consists of nodes, discrete objects that can be connected by relationships. A graph data structure makes it possible to explore billions of data points in seconds and identify hidden relationships that help improve predictions. The enx ei360 platform harnesses the depth and diversity of real-world data through a graph architecture to provide solutions to your energy enterprise. Data analytics is the linchpin of modern energy management because it transforms raw data into actionable intelligence. With data that dances, organizations can implement solutions that lead to decentralization, digitalization, and decarbonization. The enx ei360 platform is a maestro at the helm, orchestrating disparate notes of energy data into harmonious symphony. With our energy platform, your organization's data doesn't just talk, it dances, discovering insights and leaping into action, all while enabling energy savings and sustainability efforts to be achieved. Does your data dance?
Welcome, everyone, and welcome Jamie Tate, our Director of Business Development here at enx ei360. Jamie has 10 plus years experience in data management, data science. I'd love for you to actually expand a little bit on your current role and your previous roles. And of course, you had to follow a really fun video. And I know that's a hard act to follow, but I think you're up for the task. And if you could also share with our audience how you, in your role, help to make data dance for our clients in the energy space.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this and getting to nerd out for a little bit. I don't get to do that often very much anymore. Like you said before, I ventured into the biz dev world. I was a data scientist for the majority of my professional career, really kind of seeing the full lifespan of data, whether it be from data ingestion all the way through data cleansing, data science, all the way even into the visualization architecture of what we see whenever we see the fun and pretty things like you see back behind me, getting to build out analytics and bring about actionable data. That's actually what my degree was in. I was a mathematics and statistics major at the Oklahoma State University, where I can attribute really my love for data and kind of bringing about actionable insights. It blows my mind every time I think about it, considering how wonderful a space the data world is. I was only one of 4 statistics majors at Oklahoma State. I can never wonder why. And actually, one of the quotes that has always stuck with me on this entire concept and topic was from my undergrad. So my applied statistical regressions professor, shout out Dr. Forsberg. And yes, for those wondering, that class was as much fun as it sounds by its name. Kind of gave his own version of the old phrase, we are a generation drowning in information but starved for knowledge. His version was we are a generation drowning in data but starved for insight. And really kind of in the digital age that we live in right now, it really couldn't be any more truer. And kind of regardless of the vertical that you kind of find yourself or reside in. And at NX, obviously, our bread and butter is energy. And our space definitely isn't immune to that concept either. And to kind of answer your question as to utilizing data, how do we make data dance? Which every time I see that video, it just cracks me up just a little bit more. Kind of in the energy space, really what you have to do is you have to tackle one thing, and that's digitization. And kind of my solution to digitization is really this. It's utilizing a system that can take a network of connected assets to build a model for really infrastructure and energy optimization through the orchestration of data coming from a variety of different data sources and disparate data sources, visualized and recorded into one single platform. Boom.
Okay.
That's how you solve it. We are done here. No.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's just my elevator pitch for the enx ei360 platform, which we can talk about some other time. But the real solution for tackling digitization starts with data and really getting over the fear of data. So the idea of all this data coming in from the millions of deployed assets across our systems, coming into what we call a global big data lake. The big data is a huge topic all around, and that can be scary to a lot of people. Really, if you click on really any LinkedIn article about the grid, you'll really kind of always hear the same thing. We have so much intelligence. We've had more intelligence than we've ever seen. What in the world are we going to do with it? IoT, smart grid, and energy intelligence are pretty much the new live, laugh, love of the energy space. That you see those things plastered all over conference rooms, all over the place, and I really kind of understand why. Kind of have to. We're at a spot where, let's face it, we really can't stop that train anymore. We can't really overbuild our grid anymore, and must really kind of work to enhance the assets that already exist, and we have. The grid's really never been smarter. Our buildings have never been smarter. Our homes have never been smarter. Our phones, even us as individuals, have never been so interested in or in tune with how we are consuming energy. And that's a huge part of this whole digitization movement. But really the one thing that hasn't caught up yet is a tool to really kind of ensure that these assets are living up to their title of smart infrastructure. Which is really one thing to address, is that we really kind of need to understand what really is smart infrastructure. And to me, all it is really just a single one or a collection of data-oriented devices. And the big thing is, are these devices being utilized correctly? In a lot of cases, no. Yes, the grid is smarter. However, smart is a loose term. When most studies show, and I'm sure David talks about this a lot, whenever studies show that we're only utilizing 4% of the data coming in from grid devices to really drive decision makings. So I'll kind of put it this way and kind of change my language. Many grid devices are smart, but many grids are not. Grids as a whole are not. And that's frustrating to many. Really, it's kind of like having a beautiful classic car out in your garage, but you can't drive it because you never learned how to drive a stick shift.
Yep.
And so it can be incredibly, incredibly frustrating to so many people. And we're really kind of tasked as leaders in this space to do with that data what we can. And believe me, we have a lot of data to work with. Kind of whenever I first took this job, I was kind of what I would call a greenhorn in all things energy. I was really kind of the typical guy who got his energy bill from the utility on the 15th of the month. I paid it and then just assumed that electrons were going to hit my light bulb as soon as I walked in the door at night, as I'm sure a lot of people are. Little did I know, there's what I'll call kind of an explosion of data happening following those electrons, tracing all the way back to their generation sources, whether it be field measurements from grid assets measuring really the distribution of the grid management systems, or specialized systems for tracking asset health and assessing the risk for failure, to the monitoring of distributed energy resources, or even the monitoring, which we see more and more today, of customer-driven data at or beyond the meter, which that's what we utilize quite a bit here at enx. The grid network as a whole is, I know David's talked about this a lot. It's one of the most complex systems ever made by man. And that kind of stands as a perfect use case for that buzzword I used earlier, which is big data that you hear all the time. And it kind of builds the story as to how energy providers and consumers alike can kind of begin to orchestrate that same flow of electrons that hit my office light bulbs every night. And it all starts with, you guessed it, data. But here's the rub here. The use of big data analytics brings about kind of a host of practical challenges. One of those being that the market as a whole, the offering in the market of big data analytics products and related services for the utility industry is really limited and kind of, for lack of a better term, modest, with many vendors having limited electricity domain expertise and knowledge. Yep. One of the things we take pride in at enx. And this can really kind of be attributed to the challenges kind of associated with inefficient training and understanding of what I call the big 5 V's of big data. Volume, how much data is actually coming in. The variety, the types of different data from disparate sources that are coming in. Velocity, the rate that data is coming through. Veracity, the accuracy of that data. And last but certainly not least, because it's most likely the most important, is value, which is the usefulness of that data. And there's multiple tools out there. We see them at every conference we go to that do a fabulous job of really kind of tackling one or a couple of these things. Yet very few, if any, can tackle them all at once, which is why I'm so excited to be out in the market every day, showcasing a product that can do all of those things. And it can get a little bit tricky sometimes, because one could look at the enx ei360 platform or enxchange as a whole and be a little bit confused as to what our true north actually could be. Are we a utility company? Are we a CNI company? Are we a company helping military bases? Are we helping tribes? Are we helping airports? Are we helping schools? Whoa, all of these different things. But however, whenever it comes down to it, regardless of the solution, everybody has 2 things. They have energy, and even more important, they have data. And it's all about the harmonization of the data. So again, taking that data, taking a network of connected assets to build a model of infrastructure and energy optimization through the orchestration of data from a variety of different sources, visualized and recorded into one single platform. So bringing in energy intelligence and sending out energy optimization. So was that a sales pitch or what?
You nailed it. I love it. Okay, so really quick, I'll just ask one more question.
Yep.
If you've got one set of data, data set coming in, can you use that for various different solutions? It's the same data, but you can use it for, this solution or this solution.
1000%. Data is data is data. And so really what you're trying to do, no matter what kind of solution you're trying to bring about, you're trying to enhance what you currently have. And in order to do that, whether it be a demand response solution, a public safety power management, wildfire mitigation solution, a resiliency plan, what you notice is not only are the same people at these individual locations, it's really the same group of people that are working on these projects. They're all looking at the same data. They have to bring in data from grid devices. They have to bring in weather data. They have to bring in load information in order to get a full system and a full visibility of a network and a system as a whole to make better decisions. So it really doesn't matter what kind of data it could be. It could be data about how much sun you're getting outside, to how much does your space heater and that you're your employees are using during the peak winter times. All this kind of stuff does interconnect and does bring about valuable information.
Yeah, that's very, very powerful because, really these organizations, they already have the data. They just don't know how to utilize it to their advantage and make it intelligent. So that's very powerful. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us today. And if you want to connect with Jamie, he's on LinkedIn. He is always out there spreading the data message. He's out there doing demos of the platform. He mentioned the platform earlier. He'd be happy to run somebody through it if you want to check it out. Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Perfect.